we have the rivalry with Purdue. Not a huge Purdue fan. My wife went to Purdue, so that's my handicap. No offense, Cindy.
My dad went to Purdue.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad swam for Purdue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. But I have to say, I dislike Ohio State more.
Yeah.
For sure.
You can't hate Purdue more than Ohio State with what just happened. That's cruel.
Yeah,
we already beat them.
That's fair. But I think I do agree with the fact that if IU football really wants to be considered like the program has arrived, we have to beat them at some point in time.
Yeah, at some point. I think the Oregon game
it helped.
That was huge. Yeah.
But I think from a historical standpoint, we need to beat Ohio State, and if we can do that Saturday, even though I don't know that the Big Ten championship really carries a whole lot of weight anymore.
Yeah.
That's really our validation stamp, I think.
No, I agree. I mean, Ohio State is the premier Big Ten program and one of the premier programs nationally.
Yeah.
So, if you want to say you've arrived and you truly or legitimately belong here, you've got to be able to compete and beat those, premier programs.
Yeah. There's a guy in our office, Addison, who went to OSU, and huge OSU football fan. He has season tickets and he goes to all the games.
I'm sorry.
And if we beat them, he is going to hear it from me for a long time.
As he should.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you hear it from him all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, stop.
I mean, for a guy who's been a season ticket holder since I was a student there, so it's been like 30 years now. And I remember when Ohio State would come to Bloomington.
Oh.
And that's when they would take the pictures like from the helicopter photo up for their media guide cover, because you've got high enough an altitude, the scarlet and gray and the cream and crimson blended well enough together that it looked like it was a sellout. Oh. Now, never mind that 90% of the people in Memorial Stadium were Ohio State fans, but
yeah,
we've come a long way in a very, very short period of time, and I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
Well, so what's predictions?
I don't even want to. I hate that.
No,
no, I don't.
I don't want to make a prediction. The thing is, for IU to win the Big Ten championship would be awesome for IU, right? Never been in it. Ohio State's probably like, yeah, this is just a game for us. We're focused on the national championship. I get it. They've got different pedigree and different history, but it still speaks to, with the new CFP format, newish, the conference championship games, there's not a lot of upside. There's a whole lot of downside. Meaning if you lose, but it's competitive, do you slide down in the CFP rankings at all? Because it depends on how much weight the committee puts on the conference championship games. The more important that, the risk of injury to any key player. When you're there to play the game, it's important, yes, but really it's the CFP.
That's my biggest concern about Saturday.
Yeah.
If you were solidly in the CFP, you're not a bubble team, then you have a lot of downside, not a whole lot of upside to the conference championship game.
Right.
I can't imagine Mendoza is like, as long as I stay non-injured and healthy, like it's either tens of millions. I mean, I guess he still probably makes a bunch of money with NIL now, but even back in the day, it was like tens of millions or like nothing.
Yeah.
Well, for him,
I want to say his deal's $2 million,
something
like that.
But when he goes, into
when
the
I was
draft,
20, if you want to give me two,
I would have made some really bad decisions.
I was making $160 a month as a fraternity house waiter, and that bought me plenty of Miller Lights at Kilroy's. But, that's just a different world now.
Yeah, I can't imagine that though.
Yeah. I think what's going to be like the game within the game is going to be Mendoza, aka Heisman Mendoza, against Julian Sayin, the Ohio State quarterback, who are top three names listed for Heisman, along with Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. Like, to see those guys go at it and try to, a certain way pad their stats to continue to be work their way into the voters' minds. That's going to be fun to watch.
I think the Penn State game, the final drive of the Penn State game, had to have helped Mendoza more than anything.
Correct.
Easily one of the greatest drives in football I've ever experienced.
Yeah,
I was just sitting down watching it, and I had my Whoop on, and my friend and I we were actually in Las Vegas for my 30th birthday, and we were watching it, and I looked back at my data afterwards. My heart rate got I don't know what it was, like 110. Just sitting down watching TV, I was just like so excited and
What's your resting rate?
I was just about to say, for an athlete like yourself, your resting heart rate's got to be really low.
41.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 110 when you're not. Yeah,
just sitting in a chair watching TV. Yeah. It was I was it's
pretty good.
Working out. Yeah.
I'm glad you got the rings.
Yeah.
I'd have been really disappointed if you didn't. Not that I would ever sniff the Olympics, but if I had, 100%. That's just, I don't know.
If I were a medal winner, I'd be like on the other arm, like emblazing the medals on it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Industrious Podcast. Thank you all for joining us from wherever you get your podcast, or if you're joining us on the Accessa YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate that. If you would, while you're there, hit that subscribe button, the little notification bell icon, so you can be alerted when new episodes like this one drop. We greatly appreciate it. Ohio State fans, you're welcome to do the same. We won't hold back on you. You want to comment on our comments? The game will have been completed by now, so you can talk trash either way, or hopefully if the Hoosiers prevailed, then maybe we'll talk trash back. You never know.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. All right. Special guest, folks, as part of our Olympic series in preparation for the 2026 Winter Games. We have a summer Olympian, but Olympian nonetheless, and gold medal Olympian at that. Mr. Blake Pieroni. Blake, welcome to the Industrious Podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. Blake, most people may know you, but just in case not, why don't you give a little background info on yourself?
Yeah, so I grew up in Northwest Indiana, or the region.
Region.
Yeah, as everyone reminds me when I say that. Yeah, born and raised kind of in Crown Point, and then moved to Chesterton in middle school. My dad swam for Purdue in college and kind of got me into swimming when I was about 8 years old. Really wasn't super good at swimming at that age, but I did kind of all the sports: baseball, football, track. The only sport I didn't really do was basketball. But as I got older, all of my friends kind of just happened to be on the swim team, and so I kind of stuck with that sport as opposed to some of the other ones. And then I kind of was fortunate enough to have some really good coaches along the way and got better and better at swimming. And then when I got into high school, I just focused entirely on swimming and swam for a really good coach named Kevin Kennel, who I think he coached like 37 years at Chesterton High School.
Okay.
My junior and senior year, Chesterton won the Indiana High School State Championship. And swimming in Indiana, like Indiana High School State is like the Super Bowl. It's massive. I don't know if you've ever been to the meet, but it's at the Natatorium downtown, and it's packed. It's loud. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And we were the last team to win since Carmel's won all of them in 2014.
Okay.
So 2013 we won, 2014 we won, and Carmel's won all of them since. On the women's side, I think Carmel's won the women's side for like 40 years, something like that.
Had he been at Chesterton for a while before you got into high school?
Mike, the coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, he coached there in like the 80s.
Oh, okay. So I have a fraternity brother from Chesterton who I'm pretty confident he's swimming. He played water polo at IU. He's way older. He's my age, obviously. Brett Breckner. He's a doctor up there now. I don't know if that rings a bell. No. Anyway, okay.
But our senior year, or my senior year, there's this thing called like a mythical national championship. If all the public high schools, they take their state championship results and run a hypothetical meet.
Oh, okay.
And we actually like won that as well by like 1 point.
Sweet.
And so, yeah, had a really good high school career, committed to swim at Indiana University for Ray Lewis. And then the summer after my sophomore year, I made my first Olympic team for the U.S. in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Swam the 4x100 freestyle relay and prelims. And then Michael Phelps was on that relay and finals. And
who's that?
That's this guy. He's decent in swimming. He's retired. He doesn't have any world records anymore,
dude,
so he's not
very small feet.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I got to be on an Olympic team with him. He was one of my kind of idols growing up. I remember I had to be like 12 years old in 2008 when he swam in Beijing and won eight gold medals. I remember like sitting on the ground watching him, and he won the 100 fly by like 100th of a second. And touched out another guy, and that was crazy and stuck in my mind forever. And then to be on a team with him was amazing. And then the first Olympic team really like fired me up, so I got back to school with a lot more confidence. My junior year, had a really good junior year, and then kind of led into my senior year. And then NCAA's my senior year, I was the first person to ever break 130 in the 200 freestyle.
Okay.
Which was like a big deal at the time. Now a lot of people have done it, but swam professionally so technically finished my eligibility in 2018 through 2024, so about 6 years. was in really good shape in 2019, leading into what was supposed to be the 2020 Olympic Games. It was postponed for COVID, and still had a pretty good Olympic trials in 2021. Swam in the Tokyo Olympics without any spectators. And then
How was that, by the way?
it was okay. It wasn't, all of the Olympic experiences were so different. It's wild, but it was fine. All of the athletes were in the stands, so it was kind of more like almost more like a college dual meet, but all the colleges were countries.
Yeah, right.
It was fine. But then afterwards, I had a knee injury. I actually had surgery on my knee in May of 22. I had retired in kind of November of 21 after the Tokyo Olympics, and then I took about 18 months out of the water with a knee surgery, and then kind of started at Gray Capital in January of 22, and was like, I'm totally done with swimming. And then I kind of just missed it a lot. I missed like swimming with the other guys on the team. I still live in Bloomington, so I was able to actually train with the IU college team, and trained for about 14 months. So I took 18 months out of the water, 14 months in the water, and made, by the skin of my teeth, the third Olympic Games in Paris last year. And I was part of the 4x200 freestyle relay.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of questions, but going back, when you were young, growing up and getting into the sport, and then as you're kind of still young but progress and start saying, okay, I like it.
Yeah.
I've gotten good at it and I want to continue doing this. Your dad was a collegiate swimmer. Was he ever your direct coach?
Yes.
What's that like?
It was terrible. It was horrible. Yeah.
No hesitation.
Yeah. He was my coach from like probably 10 to 13 years old, maybe like 9 to 12, something in that range. And it probably would have been better if I was older. I think he was a little bit hard on me from like, I wasn't that serious about it at the time, you know, but he was. I think he probably saw like how good I could have been. But I mean, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I got another coach and it worked really well. I think sometimes it's hard. Like if you get swimming at home, swimming at practice.
I forgot I had props. Sorry.
Oh, should we put these on?
No, go ahead. No, you probably don't want to do that. You're like,
It was just too much swimming a little bit all the time.
I mean, floaties?
Yeah, those are for me.
Are we going to race with these?
I mean, I would say that if I jumped into
this is all
water
I could find in our house
right now, and I tried to swim a lap, I'd probably get about 25 meters and then start sinking. And I'm a pretty in shape guy, but swimming is the absolute hardest, aerobic activity, I think. Yeah.
It's
Thank
also
God you're married, because you would have no game right now.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all good.
Swimming is one of those things where it's like the form matters so much. Like you can go out and run, and if like your form's not like, perfect, it's fine. If your form is like a little bit off in swimming, there's so much drag on you and so much resistance that you're like, you have to try so much harder to go fast. Yeah. And so, but yeah,
my guns are so big I can't get them over.
Why did you have this?
No,
Just for your kids?
No, I actually
did you buy these for this?
I just bought these for this.
Okay.
Yeah, or I should say, sorry, my wife bought these for this. I'm like, hey, do you have any floaties around the house or any goggles from when the kids were young? She's like, no, we got rid of all that crap. I'm like, okay, well, I need some.
So your dad started off coaching you, didn't go well, which is probably this, I would say 99% of the stories. Yep. I mean, it's like me trying to teach my kids how to play golf on the golf course, and we just end up wanting to kill each other.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I don't have the patience level and they don't want to hear anything from me.
Yeah.
So you did a good job of exiting that, just having a normal father-son relationship.
Yeah.
The coach was separate.
Yes. Yeah, and that setup was much better. I had really, really good coaches. Like as I was in middle school and high school and college, he kind of was, so one of the reasons we moved was to kind of get in a better like swim club area. Okay. And I think that was really good foresight to kind of put me in that situation. And the coaches that I was introduced into, really helped me a lot.
Now, when you were looking at colleges, was there any pressure on continuing family legacy at Purdue, or was just, I mean, nothing against Purdue, as much as I like to like rag on Purdue being an IU grad. Obviously, IU swim program is premier. Yeah,
I considered it. At first, it was kind of interesting because I wanted to go far away from home to college. I took trips to Auburn, University of Arizona. I was supposed to take one to Florida. I had taken an unofficial to Michigan. but my dad kind of actually convinced me to take like a official visit to IU because we could just drive there. And so I drove there for a weekend, and I was like, wow, I could much more see myself at IU than any of the other trips that I went to. But I wasn't really considering Purdue at all, just because IU is so much better at swimming. So there was a little bit of pressure maybe, but he understood.
Right. Yeah. So then you're at IU. What is it like? What is the process for a collegiate swimmer who's got not just Olympic aspirations, but real potential? Like, how does that selection process occur? Not making the Olympic team, but starting, so getting to the national events, global events, world events, to then qualify for the Olympics. How do they say, hey, you're a college swimmer? Is it by invitation or?
So it really doesn't matter where you swim, what you swim, how old you are. There is just a time that if you go that time at any point, you're 70 years old, go this time, you're able to swim in Olympic trials. And then it's whoever makes the team at Olympic trials, that's who goes to the Olympics. It doesn't matter if you're in college, you're in high school, you're a club swimmer, master swimmer. It doesn't matter. You just have to get this Olympic trial cut. And then if you have the cut, you need to be top 2 or top 4 or 6 in some of these other events. And then you go.
So is it like, hey, I've made the time, I'm going to sort of apply, or do they reach out because they've just been tracking all the potentials?
No, if you go to the time, you just sign up for the meet. And then,
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. They say like if you have a lane, you have a chance. Yeah. So if you go that cut, which they're very fast. They're like, I think the meet used to be, then this sounds like a lot, they used to have like 1,500 people would qualify between men and women amongst all of the events. And then 56 make the team. Now I think the last one that was in Lucas Oil, I think only 1,000 or maybe like 900 qualified, something around there. They made the times faster because the meet was a little too big.
Yeah. And did you compete in the one at Lucas? Because that was pre-24. So that was
last year.
In that pool?
Yeah. I mean, how amazing. Like,
it was one of the reasons that I wanted to like come back to swimming, because it was like at first I'd never swam. I mean, it was the biggest swim meet in the world by attendance. There have been some meets that have been pretty close, but it was amazing. Yeah, it was really cool.
Who'd have thought we're gonna take an NFL stadium and fill it with water, basically?
Yeah,
that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was great. It was so much taller. Like there was so much more room, like vertically in the building than any other swim meet that I've ever been in. Just they're going to do it again.
Let the chlorine fumes.
I think they have it the next 2 times.
Right. I think I heard that. I was going to say, for someone like yourself who's been to a lot of places, a lot of swim meets, even that one you walk in, you're kind of looking around like, holy crap, this is wild.
Yeah, the scale was much bigger. So much volume in that stadium. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
All right. So I want to one thought I had as I was driving up here. Your first experience, 2016 in Rio.
Yeah.
You're like 19, 20 years old.
Yep.
Can't even get into Knicks legally to play Sink the Biz, but here you are standing on the podium. What is that feeling? I mean, it's one thing for us as viewers to see the guys on the medal podium, right? But what we don't see is all the behind the scenes work that is not just like a few weeks or a few months. It's years of preparation.
Yeah.
Can you speak to not just the feeling of, okay, I've made it, but the grind to get there?
Yeah, I'll touch on the feeling real quick. So for me, it kind of took a while to sink in. And for me, the feeling was to make the Olympic team, not necessarily to like win a medal. It was always like to be an Olympian, not be like an Olympic gold medalist or like an Olympic medalist, silver or bronze or whatever.
Was being an Olympian, though, a goal of yours from a while back?
Probably in high school when I started realizing, and there's actually an interesting story with my high school coach that I can tell you later, but probably my freshman, sophomore year of high school, where I was like,
you're achieving certain times. You're like, okay, hey, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah. And so once I made the team, that was kind of like dream come true. That probably, it wasn't until I was there, like in the Olympic Village with other sports and, watching opening ceremonies and all that stuff, that I was like, wow, like I am an Olympian.
We do have some questions about the Olympic Village, but we'll ask those offline later.
Yeah.
Did you march in the opening ceremonies?
I didn't.
Timing not aligned?
I didn't march in any of them. Swimming starts, I think, the day after opening ceremonies, and it takes like a really long time to line everybody up. And so you're on your feet for like 4 or 5 hours walking through this like, big path. Yeah. And so if you swim, and I think I was like the second or third day. And so if you swim later in the meet, some swimmers will do it, or like Michael did it, carry the flag in 2016. But I didn't walk any of that. We got up in our gear that everyone walked in, and we just watched it from our apartment.
Because you're in prep mode at that point.
Yeah. I don't want to stand on my legs for 4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
Gotcha.
but so you mentioned some of the grind. So college is, I mean, high school, the high school that I went to was very serious, and I actually probably did more volume, like more laps in high school than I did in college. So I did 10 swim workouts and 3 dryland or gym sessions per week. And so we double swam every day except Wednesday, Saturday, and obviously no swim on Sunday. So morning practice, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then afternoon practice every day except Saturday and Sunday. Morning practice usually starts at 5:30, 5:45, get out about 7:15, and then school started at 8. And then afternoon practice is 3 to 5 in high school all day. And so I probably did 60,000 yards per week in high school. And like, what are miles? Like 1,650, 1,700 yards, something like that. And so, yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot of time, a lot of early mornings, and a lot of not hanging out with your friends on the weekends because you have a swim meet or, you know, something that you have to do.
Your parents were so happy when you got your driver's license.
Yeah. Yeah. And my mom is a nurse practitioner. And so some days she would like be working nights and like, I would have to, she would like have just gotten home or something and be like, oh, I got to go to practice at like 5. And yeah. But college is really where like the grind kills you. And like, cause high school isn't that difficult. Wasn't that difficult. I came into college, major in biochem, wanted to be like pre-med or something like that. Really difficult classes. But the lifting was so much harder in college. Like your muscles are always so tired. The lifting wasn't really that hard in high school. It was like pull-ups, push-ups, you know, a lot of cardio, a lot of like stadium runs and things like that, flutter kicks, abs, core. But I was never like so like, I like couldn't raise my arms up, you know. It was college where you're doing deadlifts, cleans, snatches, like all this like really heavy Olympic movements. And then the volume is actually a little bit lower, at least it was for me, but the intensity is so much higher. Like every practice is there. You're going all out. You're going as fast as you can. And just being so tired from weights and then having really hard classes, that's just like all adds on you. And so college, really, really difficult. And the schedule is basically Monday morning, practice starts at 5:30. So you wake up at 4:45, you know, eat a banana, chocolate milk, go to practice, swim for 2 hours, go to weights, get out of practice at like 7:30, go to the weight room, lift from 8 to 9, and then go to class all day. And then afternoon practice starts at 2:45 and then gets out at 5. And then go eat dinner, study until 9, try to be asleep before 10. You got to, you know, study between 6 and 10, and then go to sleep, and then do it again for
rinse and repeat.
Yeah, like for daily. Like 4 years.
Yeah. So I mean, you were a legit full-time student athlete. Obviously, not a normal college kid who's working hard at school, but still has social life and doing all the college stuff.
Yeah. Student athlete, that period was by far the most difficult kind of segment in my life. Being like a pro, like just swimmer, is so much easier.
So I guess the question I'd have for you, I mean, as we fast forward to present day, how do you draw on that? Like, what did that instill in you, or what foundation did that create to say, okay, now here I am post competitive swimming in the quote unquote real world? What would you say, okay, that experience has given me?
I just like some of the stuff that people think is like difficult. I don't know, today is like, I think is like really easy, just like from a, like do these tasks or like be here on time, or like, you know, like a time management standpoint, that's like really easy. Cause like you didn't have an option. Like you had to do this exact schedule for 4 years. And so that kind of comes really easy to me. I don't know if I necessarily draw on it, but now it just feels kind of like natural. But yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like your schedule was so regimented.
Yeah.
That if you've got, I guess the question I'd have is like stress tolerance when things are busy at work and what have you, like,
yeah,
probably not as grating on you.
Yeah. The stress is different, especially kind of what I do. Like there's a lot of like dollars, I guess, at risk, or different things that can happen. And so the stress is a little bit different, but like stress to get things done isn't necessarily, you know, too prevalent. Yeah. the student athlete life is just, it'll beat you down. And like some people just like, so some people don't make it. So I came in with 21 in my class, men, swimmers and divers. I think we had 19 swimmers and 2 divers, and 5 finished.
Wow. That's a hell of an attrition rate.
Yeah.
Which I can understand. I mean,
yeah, it was whether they were, quit, kicked off for, academics or whatever it was just like, it was just a really difficult time. Now it's not as, the class sizes coming in are a bit smaller, and so there's not as much of a attrition rate, but yeah, it was just by far the most difficult time. It was actually a little bit hard for me when I was just swimming to like have time management, because I had so much time. I just kind of started like procrastinating things. It's like,
right.
oh, when should I do this? I don't do it whenever,
Right.
And rather than like, oh, I have to do this, this, and this, and this, or like, I'll be late for practice or something. So that was actually a little bit harder because I had so much like free time.
So present day, you've got, let's call it a side gig, if you will, with your Underdog Sports Performance, which I think you to speak to that a little bit about what that is. But one of the kind of leading questions I have is, obviously you're coaching swimming. How much of your coaching is preparing, especially your younger clients, for that have aspirations for that work ethic?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Luckily, a lot of their parent or guardians are on the calls that we have as well, and they can kind of speak to like, how ready do you think they actually are to go on their own? And a lot of them are swimming in college. One just committed to swimming in Wabash, and I've been kind of surprised at like how mature and like ready for college that a lot of these kids are. But it's a huge portion. I knew so many. There was a guy who I came in with my freshman year who was like super smart, like perfect ACT, almost perfect SAT, direct admit to Kelley School of Business, and like his freshman year he failed out of college just because he couldn't deal with like being on his own, doing his own laundry, finding his own meals, getting to things on time, because his parents had kind of done all of that for him. Just like couldn't operate, which was, I don't know, it seemed like it was more prevalent when I was in school. Maybe it's like not as much now. I'm not sure, but that's a huge portion of it. Yeah.
Did you end up getting a degree in biochem?
So I think I made my Olympic team after my sophomore year, took organic chemistry, was so burnt out from swimming after I made the Olympic team. I got an F in organic chemistry. I don't even think I showed up to the final, because I think if I got 100% on the final, I might have gotten like a D- in the class. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I probably should have switched to business, but I finished with a degree in biology.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now Gray Capital. Like, so what took you to Gray Capital? It's not, has nothing to do with biology.
Yeah, no. So my dad and grandfather own a couple units, like a residential real estate duplexes and triplexes and things like that. And I had been introduced to it from a young age, whether painting walls and fixing things and cleaning gutters. So I'd always had kind of an interest in it, and I always wanted. The biggest thing that I actually wanted when I kind of was going into the workforce is I wanted to work for a really small team. I didn't want to join like a 10,000 person company where no one knew my name, and I was in like this cubicle over there who 6 people before me, you had that cubicle, Right. And so I got connected through my boss, Spencer Gray, through a family friend, and I knew I kind of wanted to have like a career in and around real estate or do something like that. And Spencer gave me a shot, and I came in as an intern in January of 22. That's kind of how that happened.
And how are things going? I know a little bit. I know Griffin and have had some conversations, and obviously the multi-family marketplace has done quite well the last few years.
Yeah, it's done quite well. It's hurt a lot since the rate hikes. That's kind of, well, I would say 23 and 24 in particular, market was kind of frozen. Like there weren't many opportunities to acquire new. We actually bought 2 deals in 24, but there was a lot of headache from, insurance was going up, property taxes were going up. If you had floating rate debt, your interest on your debt was so much more expensive. We were pretty fortunate to not be in a lot of those situations. So it's gone really well, and I've learned a ton, and really enjoy kind of working with the team. So it's gone really well.
What do you do specifically for Gray?
So primarily focus on raising equity to buy new apartment buildings. Okay. Also, like I do reporting and help that acquisitions team look for deals and kind of send distributions and kind of service anything that like investors have questions with.
Yeah. What is your favorite part of it, and what's your least favorite part of it?
Favorite part is probably talking with investors and like figuring out like what they do for work and like meeting them, and I don't know, just like talking to new people. That's like super fun. Least favorite part, probably marketing. I hate marketing. I feel like I'm not good at it. I don't know. I just I don't really do any of it now, so I guess it's not like a drag on me at all. But I just yeah, I am a anti-social media person. I guess I have social media, but it's not on my phone. It's been deleted, and it's a time suck. I don't think it's good for anybody really. I guess I have LinkedIn, so that counts as a social media.
So I hear you say like you like the business development aspect of it, relationship building, things
sales,
like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Gotcha. Can you speak to what Underdog Sports Performance is?
Yeah,
we touched on it, but
it's like a coaching mentorship program. It's really just one-on-one calls with me and my friend, really talking about swimming and trying to get better. It was initially focused on trying to get young kids, like high school age kids, faster so that they could get scholarships to swim in college. It's now that has gotten way harder with new NIL rules. Just to give you an example, like IU had to cut 20 people from their program due to NIL rules, and so like overnight it basically became like twice as hard to get like a scholarship to like swim in college. So it's not like focused on that as much anymore. But I was very fortunate to graduate from college with no debt, and I kind of wanted to kind of instill that idea to other people or see how they could do that. So that's a little bit of like kind of what it focuses on, but it's really a meeting, basically like an hour-long meeting once every 2 weeks, where we check in, talk about how training's going, how nutrition's going, if they're in high school, how grades are going, and kind of how to periodize certain things so that you can focus on swimming a little bit more. Because I remember being in high school and coming up to championship meet, and it was also during finals or whatever, and how to deal with all that stuff. And so that's what most of it focuses on.
Gotcha. So I mean, it's a combination of not just swimming, but almost like college prep. Even if these kids don't swim in college, just life prep to be able to handle the independence aspect of it.
Yeah, life prep, and it is very it's very refreshing for me to talk to someone who is more of a newbie in swimming and like just likes it because they get to work out, they get to be active, and it's social. Mm-hmm. Like that is so great, because I feel like a lot of swimmers, as you get really high, they're like in the sport, like say you're NCAA champion, you get all of the reason that you're swimming is to like go faster, to win medals, to make Olympic teams. And like after you've done that, it's kind of like, why did we start swimming? What's fun about it? And if you don't go a best time, if you get second, if you don't make the next Olympic team or whatever, you're like so crushed, because your whole world is like, I need to go faster, I need to get better, I need to get stronger, all of these things. And these kids are like, I like going to practice because I can be active. I get to swim an event that I haven't trained. I get to see my friend over here. And so that's really refreshing. I like that a lot.
And are you involved with the IU swim program? I mean, you live in Bloomington, which everyone that has watched this podcast knows that is God's country. Do you have any involvement in the IU program now?
No. No, I swam with them through the Paris Olympics, but not anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I still swim in the rec, in the SRSC, 2 to 3 days a week.
Gotcha. Is that an aspiration for you to get into any level of coaching or outside of the advisory, services you provide at some level? Yeah,
potentially. I don't know. I don't think I would ever coach college. It's terrible. The hours that you have to work and the scrutiny from like the rules that you have to follow, whether compliance or whatever, it's just like not worth it. And the recruiting really sucks. There's so many kids. You have to make so many phone calls, and like maybe I'd coach club someday, or maybe like part-time coaching, but I kind of like what I'm doing. It's kind of like coaching, but I would prefer to like be at practice, but I don't want to commit to like a full season. Then all your weekends are gone, and it's pretty exhausting. And then you do it like after your main job, so you're like not home, and it's tough. Coaching's a tough job.
Yeah, I imagine.
He's still relatively a newlywed, so
yes,
gotta be home a little bit.
Yes,
usually helps. So for the last 8+ years, you've been involved at the Olympic level, and I know the upcoming 26 Olympics are the Winter Games, which obviously flipping the script a little bit. But as a viewer, post retirement, if you're watching any of these events or the opening ceremonies or closing ceremonies, like, what will that feel like?
Yeah, I haven't really watched many of the Olympic or the Winter Olympic Games. I'd like to. I will still watch the Summer Olympics and definitely swimming. It's kind of a shame that you couldn't go to see other sports while you're there. You kind of could when you were done and if there was like time, but it kind of never lined up with the Olympics that I was at. But I'd actually love to go and like see Winter Olympics sometimes. That'd be super cool.
So even in the Summer Games, you never really got a chance to be a spectator.
No, the only chances that you even could are probably after you're done swimming and after swimming is done entirely. So like the whole U.S. Olympic team is like done swimming, and then there's like, I don't know, 10 days or something, and then so you gotta like, you've already been gone from your home for like 6 weeks because there's 2 staging camps. There's a domestic staging camp, and then there's an international one, and then you go into the village, and then you have a 10-day meet or a 9-day meet, and then that all finished, and then you're like, oh, I want to stay here for an extra 10 days and watch these other things. It's just like, it's so long, you want to go home.
Yeah.
And so never have, but yeah, it'd be super cool too. It's in Italy, right? And
Milan Cortina, which is, if you look at where the events are being held,
Not a horrible place
It's
to go
basically all over northern Italy.
Awesome.
And some of the skiing events are in these tiny little towns that have like 2 hotels. It's going to be like logistically, it's going to be really interesting to see how they manage this.
Yeah, that's awesome. My wife and I went to Italy for our honeymoon this past year, and my grandfather was born in Italy, and still have some family outside of a town called Lucca, which is a like kind of walled city near Pisa.
It's in Tuscany.
Yeah. And so I love Italy, and that'd be super cool. But
we got a good reason to go.
That's true.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Sounds like a biz dev trip.
yeah.
All right, Blake. Well, what advice would you give to, let's say, the high school Blake or the IU Blake today that as part of maybe part of your Underdog's sports performance? Any pieces of advice that you received that really still resonates with you that you'd want to pass on to somebody else?
Yeah, I like that you split it between high school and college because advice changes like all the time depending on age. I would say high school, I would say like actually take sleep like it's important because I thought sleep was like so stupid in high school. I would do all-nighters playing video games and then have like a swim meet the next day. And some of our friends would find it funny how slow we would swim in some of these because we had just one time we tried to do 2 all-nighters in a row. So like you like stay up all night, go to class all day, and then the next night you're gonna try and like stay up again. And like,
yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, so bad. And then to go to morning practice and like such a zombie, like you're almost like falling asleep while you're swimming.
Right.
And yeah, high school me, take sleep seriously. College me, try to have more friends outside of the swimming world and to kind of network a little bit more. That in general in my undergrad, I think a ton of the value in a degree today isn't necessarily in like getting the degree, but necessarily like who you meet and maybe the kind of connections that you can meet from who those people know and who those people know.
Yeah.
It's really hard, like the schedule that I told you about, and then to add on like, oh, I should go to this like, I don't know, networking thing that Kelly's putting on or something like.
Right.
That's probably something that I should have done more when I was in college, but didn't. Yeah.
I guess older IU guys' advice to you would be just what you said, the networking. I've been out for 30 plus years. He's 5 years behind me. When you talk amongst, when you get to our age and talk amongst your peers about like, well, what'd you major in school, in college? First of all, it no longer matters.
Yeah. And
I would say greater than 50% or at least 50%, we're doing something now that has nothing to do with whatever we majored in anyway.
Yeah.
Networking is massively important. You're from Indiana. Indy in particular, and I say this to other folks who come to Indy, especially if they come from a small town. They think, oh man, Indy's the big city. I'm like, it is the smallest big city you've ever been around.
Yeah.
And people have heard me say this 1,000 times. In New York City, it's 7 ways to Kevin Bacon. Here, it's like 2.
Yeah, especially in the business.
Yeah,
Indy
for sure.
Is,
so if you're trying to get connected with someone, high likelihood you reach out to 1 or 2 people, you'll get connected there. The old adage of don't burn a bridge certainly holds true. But at your age, the networking thing is huge. Just keep getting to know people, finding mentors, all that. Just hammer that, and you'll be amazed what happens.
Yeah, and it doesn't like have to be like networking in the sense of like, hey, this person might give me a job someday, but just like have friends in like very different areas.
Oh, totally.
And like I say that as my advice, but that'd be so hard to do when I was in undergrad though. Like it's 9 o'clock at night. Oh, I should go to this like, this party and like not drink alcohol so I could go to practice in the morning, but I need to be social and hang out with everybody else. Or like,
I want to go out, but my alarm's going off at 4:45.
Yeah, and everyone going out, it's like going to the bars or like, not everybody, but I mean like that was a big scene, and that's like how a lot of people meet people in college I'm sure there's tons of other ways, but it's not as easy as I think we're saying, especially for student athletes. But yeah.
I trust your hands were falling asleep there. From
the losing circulation in my hands.
Blood pressure cuffs.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, all right. Well, Blake, thank you for taking the time and sharing your story and coming in and chatting with us. We appreciate it. We're happy to be of use to you and your networking. So count on us to help you out where we can.
Cool. Appreciate it.
And thank all you guys for joining us on this episode of the Industrious Podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Keep track of Blake's past. It's a really interesting story and a really interesting follow in terms of his both collegiate and Olympic success. And don't forget, cheer on Team USA as they head into the 2026 Winter Games. And also, don't forget, be industrious.